All right, guys, welcome back. So the Thursday prelim is now here for the Chili Bowl Nationals, which will be taking place 1 week from today. If you've been paying attention to my channel as well, I made a video yesterday talking about the pool that is going on right now. Either Corey Nisha or our sponsor for this video, Dirt Track Pools as well. If you want to be involved in any of the pools, I will link the Dirt Track Pools one down below. And later on today, we'll be talking more about the Group 2 picks that I will be placing. And there is a giveaway going on as well if you would like to be involved with that here on the channel. But for Thursday night, there are 76 total entries right now. As I mentioned in previous videos, that can change by the time that next Thursday rolls around. Guys switching nights, guys having issues, can't get there in time, or they have to go early or whatever. But right now it's 76 total entries, which is second overall as far as the most entries for all 5 days next week. There are six to be announced entries, so 6 cars entered in the race that have not found a driver quite yet. If you are looking to race the Chili Bowl, go on the entry list and go find those 6 guys and give them a call. Maybe you could be the guy that is driving one of them. There are 11 rookies that are racing on Thursday night next week, which is the least amount that we've seen so far this week. The most was on, I believe, Monday. There are 22 drivers going on Monday that are a Rookie of the Year contender, but only 11 on Thursday night. There's also 14 former Saturday A-main event starters, guys that have made the Saturday feature before in their career, 14 of them, which is right now right in the middle of the pack, third best of the 5 prelim nights. And then last year, there were 120 drivers that made a prelim feature event. For Thursday night, there are 20 of them that are racing on that prelim night for themselves. So that is tied for the third best. I guess it would more like be like the third worst because there's only 5 nights. And there's a tie going on there. So only 20 starters from a prelim night last year racing on Thursday next weekend. So last 5 Thursday night winners. Last year, it was Spencer Baston in 2024. He started on the pole and won that one in the RMS Racing number 1S, which is the same car he is driving this year. 2023, it was Tanner Thorson driving his own number 88 car. He was able to win from the pole as well. Those were the 2 years that Christopher Bell was not in attendance. He won the 3 previous seasons. 2022, he started 4th driving for Keith Kunz Motorsports. 2021, he started 6th and got the win driving for Chad Boat. And 2020, it was the same story there as well. Started 6th and got the win driving the CB Industries number 84. Now, let's jump into my drivers who I think will be the top 10 finishers for Thursday night. This is not, I got to reiterate this because people do get upset, but this is not an exact, guess. I'm not saying that this guy's going to run first and this guy's going to run 6th or whatever. I just think they're going to finish in some sort of order in the top 10. These, in my opinion, are the best drivers that are going on Thursday, which, in my opinion, Thursday after doing this, it's kind of weak. It's not as weak as Friday, but Thursday is not the best night when it comes to overall competition. As far as, I would say, at like the top tier drivers, there's not as many good ones. But here we go. Let's get into it. We're going to start things off as we've done the last couple of days. With the most recent prelim night winner, and that is Spencer Baston. Baston, it seems like whenever he gets in a midget, he's able to pick it up very, very quickly. We saw that last year at the Chili Bowl. We saw that, 2 years ago when he was driving the Dyson midget. He was able to get a win at Merced with USAC on the West Coast after running a sprint car all year. So whenever Baston gets in a midget, he is able to knock that rust off very quickly. He has been a USAC national champion before in his career. So Baston, I think that he's going to be just fine. He's got the same car as last year. RMS Racing, they always run midgets all season long, so they're going to be able to get things figured out. Also, I think Baston should be involved in the Race of Champions, which should help him later on in the week. He gets to race a day before his actual prelim night, so you got to keep that into account as well. Now, number 2 on the list, I really like this guy, and he's starting to get more eyeballs and attention on him, and that is Carter Sarf. Sarf is not going to be driving the car that he's ran this season with Power Eye and with the Extreme Outlaw Series. He's going to be driving a car that is fueled by Chase Briscoe. But this kid is extremely underrated. He drove right by Christopher Bell at the the Junior Connepper 55 at DuQuoin a few weeks ago. He was running second. You would think that Christopher Bell gets out front, he's going to win that race. It was his first dirt race back, though, so you can't really put too much blame on him there. But Carter Sarf drove right by him and was able to get the win. This guy absolutely stands on the gas, more than likely going to get a pick from me in that Chili Bowl pool that we'll be talking about more throughout the week. But Carter Sarf, an underrated driver. I think he's got a great shot to run on the podium on Thursday night at the Chili Bowl. Now, moving on to number 3, and you got to have him on there, but that is Christopher Bell. We already talked about him winning the prelim night for the 2020 to 2022. He's won the Chili Bowl a couple of times as well. The only thing that I am worried about with him is, I just talked about he got his doors blown off by Carter Sarf at DeCoin. I know it was his first race back. I understand that. He was able to get the win at the Tulsa shootout, but you could obviously tell that he was not the best car in that main event. Do I think that Christopher Bell is going to miss the show on Saturday? Absolutely not. But I don't think he's going to be, I might eat my own words here, but I don't think he's going to win the prelim night on Thursday. I think he's still got a little bit of rust to knock off before he's back to the Christopher Bell that we all know. But he's still going to be extremely fast. He's one of the best drivers in the entire world, and we are expecting him to be very, very good. Now, let's move on to number 4 on the list here. And that is going to be the 2023 prelim night winner and former Chili Bowl champion. That is Tanner Thorson. So Tanner Thorson, after what seemed like every single year at the Chili Bowl, he was in a different ride. I'm not kidding you. I probably have a shirt in my closet over there for every single year that Tanner Thorson raced the Chili Bowl. He was in a different car, the Tri-C car, the Reinbold car, the Hayward car. I'm missing a couple in there. His own 88 car. The Keith Coons car. I mean, I could keep going on and on. He's ran so many different cars, but he's back in his own number 88 car. And I think that he is just, I've said it many times in broadcasts, whether that's on Dirt Vision or Flow. I think Tanner Thorson is a guy that every single lap on the track, he is giving a 110% effort. He does not take a lap off, and he loves the Chili Bowl more than any other race in the entire country. Sorry, I had some technical difficulties there, but like I was saying, Tanner Thorson has an awesome setup that gets around that building. He has not really changed much, I would say, on that setup over the last couple of years, especially since he won the Chili Bowl a few years ago driving for Reinbold Underwood Motorsports. I know I said yesterday that Logan Seavey won for them. I was mistaken. That was Tanner Thorson that was able to win the Chili Bowl for them a few years ago. But Thorson, I mean, the guy is just unbelievable. I mean, he is very, very good in that building, and he rightfully deserves to be on this list. Now, number 5 on my list here, and like I've said for the last couple of days, I mean, the Alex Bowman racing cars, they are unbelievable in the building. They drive themselves around the racetrack. We've already talked about Jake Swanson. We've already talked about Briggs Danner as well. And so I'm going to put, and Kevin Thomas Jr., CJ Leary is the final of the Alex Bowman racing cars that is racing on the prelim nights. They have 4 cars. They don't have anybody going on Friday. But Leary is another guy, I've mentioned this before, like Kevin Thomas Jr., like Mitchell Moles. He is not a huge midget fan, but when he gets in them, he is able to drive the wheels off of them and do incredible things. I've seen Leary make the Chili Bowl main event before, if I'm not mistaken, in an absolute shitbox before. I'm not kidding you. He's been able to do it. Now he's in a car that rivals the best cars in the entire building. He's a guy that runs non-wing sprint cars all year long, but whenever he gets in the midget, he picks it up pretty damn quickly, and I think he should definitely be a factor. I don't know about for the win, but certainly for a top 5, maybe a top 7 run for CJ Leary. Now, moving on to the 6th position, and I mentioned this yesterday in the pool pick video, but Brady Bacon, I mean, he has terrible luck in the building. He's only made 5 of 20 Saturday main events in his career, but if he finishes in the top 10, I'm going to say it's right here, 8, 9, 10 in that area. I don't think he's a guy that is capable of winning in the prelim night. Triple X chassis, Toyota engine. It's a car that he's familiar with. It's the same owners that he'll run the sprint car with next year. But Brady Bacon, there's just too many things that go wrong for him. He doesn't run the midget too often, if at all, really, besides the Chili Bowl. And so for those reasons, I'm going to put him at number 6. I still think he's one of the best drivers that is racing on Thursday night. But is he a guy that is going to contend for the win? In my opinion, the answer is no. And hopefully Brady Bacon doesn't hate me for saying that, but maybe he would agree. I don't know. But I'm going to put him at number 6. Definitely one of the top 10 best drivers running on Thursday, but I don't think he can compete with the likes of Thorson, Bell, and Sarf, really, at this point. So number 7 on the list is going to be, and it's a guy making a team swap here. It's going to be his first race behind the wheel of the Keith Coons Motorsports car, and that is Jacob Denny. So Jacob Denny was running for the 25, the Tom Malloy cars for the last 2 or 3 years on the USAC Midget Tour. That team shuts down. Denny has found a new home with Keith Kunz Motorsports, and this is another kid that is very underrated. We saw him be very, very, very fast out on the West Coast with USAC at tracks he's never even been to before. He doesn't have a ton of experience at the Chili Bowl, but he's driving for a team that does, and he's ran the midget all season long. I love Jacob Denny. I think he's a very, very good driver, underrated driver. I would not be shocked if he ran inside the top 5. I think people are going to maybe, looking at the pool, I think people are going to skip over him, to be quite honest with you. It is his first time driving the car, but it's a Keith Kunz car, man. I feel like everybody that gets in one of those, they feel comfortable right off the bat, and I don't see why Jacob Denny would be any different than the rest of those people. Now, moving on to number 8. Let me make sure I'm in the right spot here. Yes. And a good friend of mine, and I think that he's underrated as well, and that is Ryan Bernal. So Ryan Bernal is driving one of the Matt Wood racing cars. We already talked about several of his teammates throughout the week: Shane Golobic, Landon Brooks, Colby Copeland, and now Bernal is the next one. We'll talk about another one of his teammates tomorrow, that being Darren Pittman. But the cars, the Matt Wood racing machines, they are very fast. They've got all the best equipment. They've got good crew chiefs on the wrenches as well with Dustin Golobic. He has done some good stuff in that building as well. Ryan Bernal has ran top 5 in the Chili Bowl Saturday main event in the past. He hasn't made it the last couple of years, but I still think that he's a driver that is capable of making it happen on Thursday. I think he's a guy that is easily going to run inside the top 10, so long as nothing happens, as long as Chuck McGilvory doesn't run into him again, that Ryan Bernal should be no problem in the top 10 on the prelim night for Thursday. Now, number 9 on the list is going to be, we talked about him yesterday as well, and it is Chris Windom. So Chris Windom driving the CB Industries number 89X. He's drove that car for the last couple of years at the Chili Bowl. This year, Windom, I've been told he's going to be showing up a little bit later. He's going to be showing up on his prelim night, so not going to be in the building, taking in the sights and the sounds and the smells and all that stuff, right? He's not going to be watching the racetrack. He'll probably watch it on full, obviously, but Windom not going to be in the building until Thursday, which I don't know. Is that good? Is that bad? I have no idea, but we know that Windom can wheel a midget. He was not kind of in the same boat as Tyler Courtney, like we talked about yesterday. He was not very good on the West Coast when he ran with USAC, but Chris Windom, a Triple Crown champion, the guy knows how to wheel a midget. He's been decent in the past at the Chili Bowl, nothing incredible, no prelim night wins or anything like that. But when you drive a car as good as the Chad Boat Industries machines, and you have a driver like Chris Windom that is very good without the wing on top of the car, whether that's a Silver Crown non-wing or a midget, and obviously we've seen him do a couple of good things in the wing car as well. I feel like you have to have him on the list. After looking at the entire roster, Chris Windom, no doubt about it, should be in the top 10 on this list. Now, the final driver we'll talk about here today, and maybe a little bit off the wall compared to some of the other guys that are going to be racing on this night, but I really like him a lot, and it's going to be Kyle Spence, the driver out of Bear, Delaware. He's driving one of the Trifecta Motorsports cars. He's a teammate to Zach Dahm, teammate to Michael Facino. And Kyle Spence has ran the Chili Bowl now a couple of times. He ran it for Keith Kunz Motorsports, got to the Saturday C or the D main his first year out. This guy is very good in micro sprints. He's done incredible things in those cars. He's more transitioned now into wing sprint car racing here recently. But these midgets, these cars that he's racing, they have proven to be very potent inside of this building. He's got some good teammates. He's running a car that runs all year long with other drivers behind the wheel. I'm going to put Kyle Spence confidently inside of my top 10. I think he's driving the 9U car. If not, it's the 7U. No, that's Dom. So he's the 9U. So Kyle Spence, number 10 on my list. So there you go. Baston, Sark, Bell, Thorson, Leary, Bacon, Denny, Bernal, Windom, and Spence. Those are my predictions for the top 10 on the Thursday night prelim at the Chili Bowl Nationals. Let me know your thoughts. Who is in your top 10? Who am I forgetting? Let me know in the comment section. Also hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and we'll be back later on today to talk about Group 2 of the Chili Bowl pool. Make sure to stay tuned for that. Also check it out because we do have that giveaway going on if you would like to be involved. So thank you all so much for watching, and we'll talk to you again soon.